What's up, everybody? This is the Damian Turner Podcast, and I'm the host, Damian Turner. Today, I want to talk about feelings and emotions, y'all. And the reason why I want to talk about feelings and emotions is because it's a fact that 85% of the world's population does not know that they can make decisions absence of feelings and emotions. Let me say that again. It is a fact that 85% of the world does not know that they can make decisions absence of feelings and emotions. Now, ever since I've been young and coming up in the world and dealing with this in the Western world, you always been taught to do what you feel, say what you feel. And what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of times what you feel ain't what's right. And when you make decisions that's guided by your feelings and emotions, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be the wrong feeling. It's gonna be the wrong decision. I know from experience. And a lot of times people don't even know that this is what they doing. They don't even know that they feelings and emotions is the guide behind what they say, what they think, how they feel, how they see things. And this is the downfall of every man, woman in this world. And when you study old spirituality systems, being able to make decisions not based on your feelings and emotions was the number one thing in spiritual systems. What do I mean? Check this out. Whenever a person is guided by their feelings and emotion, then it's very easy to control them. It's very easy to make them blow any way the wind blow. It's very easy to manipulate them because when you can't rise above your feelings and emotions, then what you actually doing is you dwelling in the lowest part of your spirit. Yes, the lowest part of your spirit. Let me give you an example of something. See, in back in the days when it was ancient Kemet and in ancient Africa, in order for you to be a leader or an elder or a guide on anything, you had to go to an initiation because the people had to make sure that you wasn't a person that be doing their own agenda what's right for themselves other than what's right for everybody together. So in order for you to be a leader, the people had to trust you. And in order for the people to trust you, you had to be on a certain level of spirituality and mindfulness. What do that mean? That means you had to be a person that wasn't guided by your feelings and emotions, which is your lower self, which is your animal spirit. And when you look at the world today and you see a lot of decisions that a lot of people make, is a lot of the decisions is made from the lack of knowledge of self. And when I say knowledge of self, what do I mean is like when you know yourself, you know what you could take, you know what you can't take, you know what you don't like. If y'all understand what I'm saying, let me give y'all an example. I don't like going out to bars because I understand that it's a lot of intoxicated people in these bars and in these situations. And I understand that intoxicated people are actually in a, a stage of mental health. What do I mean? Like when you intoxicated, that means that you're not your genuine self. Now, you might do a lot of things that you were scared to do when you sober, but you still not your genuine self. And a lot of times in these situations, when you hanging in these bars and you hang around these people and everybody getting drunk, everybody getting high, and people starts to do unnecessary and unusual things. So I know for a fact that I know for a fact that every time that I'm in a bar around drunk people, and if I'm getting drunk too, I'm putting my life at risk. I choose not to. I choose not to. I know that every time that I'm around people that does not know that their feelings and emotions can be overcame, I'm putting my life at risk. Because a lot of people ask me why I stay to myself, why I'm always by myself, because I refuse to put my life in other people's hands. I don't want to what they call it. I don't want to die prematurely because I chose to go to a bar and then somebody in my family drunk do some silly stuff and then I got to help and retaliate with them because they drunk doing silly stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I made the decision is you ain't gonna even find me in these situations. I'm not gonna even put myself in that predicament. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people will take this as I'm saying I'm scared. You damn right I'm scared. I ain't scared of a human being, but I'm actually scared of what I might do and how I might jack off my life and never see the light of day again or be in a casket. So I chooses to be in environments where mostly I can control. If if I can't control the environment, then most likely I don't want to be in it. You might say that's cliche or impossible, but at the end of the day, that's how I choose to move. Cause I move with caution. Because I'm from the street. And I've seen a lot of situations where a person made a split second decision and jacked off their whole life, man. And it don't have to be. And the thing about it is, what people don't understand is, it was almost like situation with the Takeoff situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff too. Like that situation with our brother Takeoff, right? They was all getting along. They was all being cool. They had women around. Once the women come around, ain't nobody going. Don't nobody want to a different type of ego come out of men. So if I'd have said to a man when it was just me and him, right? If I say to him real like man, you a sucker for love, and it's just me and him, he laugh it off. But if I say you a sucker for love in front of women, then he gonna take that more serious than he took it when it was just me and him. And he might end up doing and he might end up doing something to me in front of the women. Or things go sideways when you intoxicated. in you and your feelings and emotions, man. And this is what I see a lot of times about us as a people. Because when you dealt with African spirituality, the whole thing was rising above your lower self. And what is your lower self? Your lower self is your feelings and emotions. And a lot of times we don't know that because in Western society, we always been taught to do what we feel. Like it's almost as if we think we can. It's almost as if we think we can overcome our instincts or overcome our impulses. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, people get that confused, man. And I see us suffering from it, from everything that's going on in society right now. All stem from people letting their feelings and emotions overcome them, and them making a decision off of that. You had the situation going on with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. None of us was there. None of us know what really happened. But what we do know happened is some shots let off, somebody got shot, and when you hear all the stories, the backstories and everything mixed up, it all boiled down to people not being able to control their feelings and emotions. Period. And what a lot of other people don't understand, people don't know the disguises that your feelings and emotions come in. See? The disguises. And your feelings and emotions come in disguises in lust. Your feelings and emotions come in disguises of greed. Your feelings and emotions come in disguises of narcissism, jealousy, envy. So you got to be real careful because a lot of times, a lot of people say, "Man, I did the first thing that came to my mind," or I feel it should be this way. I feel it should be that way. I feel I see it like this. I feel, and the moment a person say "I feel" is the moment when you shouldn't trust that person. Period. You know, you really can't trust. Like I told my mom's right. I told my mom. Told my mom. I said, I love my mom to death, but I don't trust nobody. And my mama said, "What? You don't trust me, son?" And I said, I trust you as my mama, but as us being grown folks, I don't trust nobody because I know that a lot of us haven't conquered, or a lot of us don't know that we don't have to react off our feelings and emotions. What do that mean? I can't trust you if your feelings and emotions is your guide. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But you shouldn't trust me when my feelings and emotions is my guide. This is why our ancestors had divination systems and things of that nature. Because the everyday person is a victim to their feelings and emotions. And you have to try to consult something else. And that's why you got to always have a third party. When you're in a relationship and you marry or anything like that, that's why it's good to have counseling. Because counseling put somebody looking in it that doesn't have feelings and emotions in it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And if we want to grow as a people, we have to study psychology. We have to study biology. We have to study our ancestors' systems, because it was all about overcoming your lower self or your feelings and emotions. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions in the world, is that you don't have the ability to not make a decision based on your feelings and emotions. And a lot of us, I'm talking about everybody around me, do. I get in arguments with my wife over this shit. I get in arguments with my friends over this. I get in arguments with my associates over the same thing. And I always try to make a decision. I always try to make my decisions based on what's right nowadays in my life. And I don't like to put myself around people and in situations where it's a bunch of people dwelling in their feelings and emotions. No disrespect to nobody, but whenever you let your feelings and emotions guide your way, your vision is very blurry, sir, ma'am. It means you can't see straight. You really can't see truth. You really can't see facts. It's almost as if you walking through the world blind. And this is why everybody has to come up out of the box that they built for themselves. Because a lot of times I always hear this, man. A lot of times I hear people talk about my truth, and that's my truth, and that's the way I see it. But really, in reality, when you remove the feelings and emotions out the way, there's only one truth. And what I mean by that is it's a truth and then it's non-truth. And a lot of people don't know the difference between truth and facts. Let me give y'all some knowledge on this. Truth don't change. Facts change. What do I mean? It's a fact that I'm talking to y'all on YouTube right now. And then when I get off, that ain't a fact no more. But the sun coming up and going down every day, that's a truth. Cause and effect, that's a truth. Like attract like, that's a truth. Universal laws, these is truths that if we abide by them, then we barely would never go wrong in life. And then you got facts that change every time something different happens. Facts change, truths don't. That's the difference between those two. Another thing, belief. Belief. The word belief, the word believe. If you notice, in the middle of the word belief, in the middle of the word believe, is the word I-L-I-E, lie. And what people don't understand is that when you gotta believe in something, that means you don't know. That means you're not sure. When you gotta have faith in something, that means you don't know. That means you're not sure. And what a lot of people don't know is that belief and faith is very low in our spirit. We trying to rise up to knowing, wisdom, experience. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we live in a world that's based on beliefs. And then I can say that another way. We live in a world that's based on lies. We live in a world that's based on faith. I can say it another way. We live in a world that's based on hunches, or um 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 hyperbole. See, I want to rise above beliefs and faith. I want to know. When you believe in something means you don't know. And if we could understand that, then we can understand that we don't need to be putting our beliefs out as if they facts and if they the truth. Just say, I believe. And the next person should understand when you say, I believe, they should understand that you don't know. But you should understand that too. Because a lot of people is dying and killing over beliefs and faiths. And say it another way. A lot of people is dying and killing over things that they don't know is truth of is true. And ever since the left brain then took over, this is the world that we've been living in. A lot of people like, damn, what you mean the left brain? Another word for the left brain is the Western world. Why do I say that? Let's talk about the biology of the brain real quick. All right. Your lowest part of the brain is called the R complex or the reptilian brain. So this part of your brain is in charge of when you mate, like have sex and desire and lust, and when you like hunt for food and eat. Then you got on top of the reptilian brain, you got what they call the mammalian brain. And then on top of the mammalian brain, you have what they call the the cerebrix. And this is where your left and right hemispheres of the brain dwell at. And then you got something in the middle of your left and right hemisphere called the corpus callosum. What is the corpus callosum in charge of? The corpus callosum is in charge of integrating the left and right brain. We definitely need both sides of our brains. But when you lean majority to each side determines how you see the world. Let me say that again. In certain cultures, nurture a different side of the brain. And a lot of it has to do with your environment that you come up in. Yes, it does. So when you hear people say the Western world is dominated by the left side of the brain, what they mean is the left side of the brain is where you see differences in things. The left side of the brain is in charge of you seeing differences. Without the left side of the brain, you will see everything the same. So the left side of the brain is in charge of you seeing differences, right? But if you dominate left brain, which means is you use your right brain, but you use your left brain way more. Well, when you dominate left brain, you see way more difference. You see differences in things when you should be seeing similarities in things. And when you see differences in things all the time, this creates a situation where evil can be done or where evil is born at. Let me say that again. When you see differences in everything, evil can be born there. Another function of the left side of the brain is your hearing. The left side of the brain deals with your hearing, right? Now, if you just had the left side of the brain and didn't have the right side of the brain, then you would be somebody that can't see, but you can hear, right? So your whole life would be based on hearsay. And as we know, when somebody is dominant left brain and everything is based on hearsay, then that's a situation where evil can be born at. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. These is facts. So another thing that you deal with when you're dealing with the left hemisphere of the brain is it's your analytical brain. Another way where you be able to understand differences on an abstract level. Meaning, when I say abstract, meaning things that you can't see on the surface, but it's differences going on under the surface, and your left hemisphere of the brain is in charge of that. Now, on your right hemisphere of the brain, right? Your right hemisphere of the brain is in charge of seeing similarities. And then another thing, so when you lean right side dominant, then sometimes you see similarities in things that you should be seeing the difference. Because sometimes when you see similarities in everything and fail to see the differences in them same things, then you become gullible. Then you become vulnerable for somebody to take advantage of you. You see what I'm saying? Let me give y'all an example. Thanksgiving just passed. When the Pilgrims came amongst the Indians, when they first came amongst the Indians showed them love. They showed them how to do a lot of things. The Indians could have just killed them all off. But the Indians wasn't like that. They was right. The Indians was leaning right brain, so they seen the similarities in them. Even though they had differences, they seen the similarities. But what happened was, by the Indians being dominant right brain, they failed to see the differences that caused these people that they seen the similarities in to kill them and hurt them and try to make them become extinct. And the same thing with the Pilgrims, which was leaning left brain, what they felt, they seen differences in everything. So the whole time they came amongst these Indians, even though these Indians were showing them love and showing them hospitality, the only thing they could see is differences. So the only thing they thinking about is they waiting on their chance where they could take over. They waiting on their chance where they could remove the Indians and become the leaders of the land. See, y'all understand how that went. See, a lot of times people think things is coincidences and all that. But what I learned from me studying a lot of different things, I learned that a lot of things is based on these two hemispheres of the brain and whether you dominant in one side or the other. These is just truths and facts that I'm speaking, brother. So when if y'all understand what I'm saying, but the object of the game is to have the left and right hemispheres of the brain to integrate with each other so you can make the best decision that you can make. But a lot of times, you can ask a psychologist this. A lot of times, everybody leans to one side of the brain or the other based on the environment that they was born in or came up in. Yes, sir. These is truths and facts. So, Brother Damian Turner, what do this got to do with feelings and emotions? Okay. Letting your feelings and emotions guide you on top of you being left brain would turn out to be a real evil person, man. Letting your feelings and emotions guide you and you predominantly right brain would turn out to be a real vulnerable, gullible, almost weak person. Wow, that's deep. And we as a people have to learn to actually exercise on the battle that's going on within ourselves before we can fight the battle that's going on outside of ourselves. And that's how our ancestors dealt with life. They went through initiations and they went to initiation systems because the person like you have like in order for you to be a leader in these communities, you had to be a person that was worthy of everybody's trust. And the only way everybody could trust you is they have to know that you ain't being swayed by your feelings and emotions. Because if you ain't being swayed by your feelings and emotions, then guess what? Money won't make you abort your mission. Selfishness won't make you abort your mission. Like the situation with Coach Prime. Means when our leaders went through these initiation systems, when they went through them and they came out on the other side, then everybody in the whole country or the whole village knew they could trust this person to have the whole village's best interest at hand, not their own. Yes. That's how this all come back to square one. So let's talk about this real quick, right? So you always hear white people always tell black people, um, um, come up by your bootstraps. You understand what I'm saying? When you really want to be technical, when white people came to this country and they started settling over here, the government gave all them free land. And right now, that free land that they got way back then has been passed down to generations through their whole families. And some of them still hold on to that land, and that's how they wealth and that's how they stayed apart. But we were slaves. We didn't get that. We ain't even get our promise of 40 acres and a mule. Right? So they always telling us but they greed won't allow us to do that. They envy and jealousy won't allow us to do that. Because all this stuff going on, everybody was talking about, think about it, everybody was talking about how HBCUs needed funding and how HBCUs, remember the George Floyd thing was going on and everybody was gathering around and talking about doing things for black people and everybody was talking about the movement and all that, right? But at the same token, they seen what Coach Prime was doing at Jackson State. And in their mind, they said, the hell with that bootstrap shit. We need him in our institution. F what he doing down there for them. We need him over there. Think about it. In this situation, they was seeing differences when they should have been seeing similarities. What they should have been seeing like, oh, so we trying to help HBCUs. Coach Prime is doing that, so let's leave him alone. Because the betterment of the HBCUs and the betterment of us all is the betterment for the whole country. But no, they couldn't see that. Right? The only thing they could see is what Coach Prime could do for them. So what did they do? They came out. They didn't appeal to Coach Prime's faith. They didn't appeal to Coach Prime being a Christian. They appealed to Coach Prime's ego and desire and lust and extravagant taste. They came out and said, look, we're going to give you this much. They can't pay you that over there. Look at the way this locker room look. Theirs don't look like this. Look at the way our field look. Theirs don't look like this. Look how much money we got. They don't have money like this. And Coach Prime, what'd he do? The same thing that happened to Eve with the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Coach Prime ate off that tree. He bit the apple. They put all this, like, and he said it when he was doing his press conference. See, when you listen to a man talk, he'll tell you a lot about himself. But a lot of times we only wait to hear the things that sound good and rhyme. You understand what I'm saying? But Coach Prime said it. He said it out of his mouth. He said that the AD of Colorado wasn't playing fair because he kept sending him pictures of their facilities, trying to entice him to come to Colorado. He said it right in the press conference. Right? He didn't come to Coach Prime and say, what you could do more for black people from here. He didn't come to Coach Prime and say, what you could do more for your people from here. Nah. He came at Coach Prime flashing glitter and glow. But we know everything, that glitter ain't gold. I'm just saying, y'all. But when you look at the situation, it was just what I said it was. And then, this media, Doug Gottlieb, he broke it down. He said we got snow. And he was right. What color is snow, y'all? We got whitewash. That's what he's saying. He said that it wasn't never about HBCU in the culture. It was always about Deion Sanders. And a lot of people say, why y'all keep talking about this? Why y'all keep dwelling on this? Because we have to make sure that this don't happen again to us, man. That's just the bottom line, man. And a lot of people saying we can't like this dude try to elevate himself and this, that, and the other. Let me ask y'all a question. What do the book say about a rich man in the kingdom of heaven? I can't hear y'all. Okay, so we know what that say, right? What about what's the name when he told the rich man to go give away all his riches? He asked him, how do I get into heaven? He said, go give away all your riches. And that's how you will get into heaven. But the way the AD of Colorado entice Prime to come to Colorado, that was equivalent of temptation. And Coach Prime falling victim to temptation. Doug Gottlieb said another thing. He said Coach Prime always used the word God because he don't want people to question him when he being dishonest. So he used God. So if you question him, you questioning God. He can't get that off on us, Doug Gottlieb. We already know. We already know the fruits. We see what's going on. So tell me, right? Coach Prime rich already. Then had everything, been at the top already. And that's what y'all not understanding. See, a lot of y'all people looking at it as if we'll say something to you for you going to a better opportunity and get more money when you ain't never had no money. Where you ain't never been rich. See, that's not what we saying is not about you. So we ain't saying so when you elevate yourself by moving yourself up because you was down. No, we're not saying that. Coach Prime was never down. So I want y'all to answer this question. If you trying to be elevated by man or God, how answer this question, y'all? How much of the elevation would have been if Coach Prime would have stayed at Jackson State and continued to do what he was doing? How much elevation would he would have had in the eyes of God? Be truthful, y'all. Be truthful. Meaning what? He done came somewhere, suffered, sacrificed, because he said he knew he had to sacrifice on 60 Minutes. He said he knew it was going to be pain in 60 Minutes. But he gave in to all that, man, too fast. And he ain't finished the job. But just because he a public figure and he did that, now Jackson State about to flourish. Way better than it did when Prime was there. Without Prime, and Colorado gonna struggle. Mark my words, y'all. Back to the beginning. Feelings and emotions. Don't let your feelings and emotions get the best of you, man. Fight the fight that's going on within yourself before you fight a fight that's going on outside of yourself. And you're going to win some battles and you're going to lose some battles. But the glory is in you fighting the battle, period. Because a lot of people ain't fighting the battle. A lot of people just go the way the wind blow. A lot of people can be controlled by these holidays and by these what's going on TV and what this person said and what this person doing. Yes, sir. Just fight the fight, man. Fight the fight that's going on within yourself. This is the real spirit. That's the real spiritual fight. Because once you fight that fight, then any fight that's going on outside of yourself gonna be easy. Believe me when I say that. See, I said believe. It's a habit. Trust me when I say that. Because I know. And this is the end of Damian Turner's podcast today. And I would like for y'all to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you could get notifications when I drop videos. And please, please support me, and support my brothers that's on this same mission. I'm out.